base 17 does not take the dexterity. So does that mean I wouldn't take the dexterity for the armor class for barbarian? Because I get dexterity and constitution bonuses added to my armor class, but since dex has nothing to do with the turtle's armor, it even says in the thing not to add it.
Then yeah, you won't get your dex bonus.
Okay.
So yeah, chroma dragons, blue, white, red, black, green,
Tiamat.
purple.
Yeah.
Am I missing?
There are
any?
exceptions, but
Yeah, are generally the evil dragons. Silver, gold, copper, bronze. I feel like I'm missing 3.
gold actually have a really, according to a pile of stuff I was reading on it, golds have a lovely habit of becoming paladins and clerics.
So yeah, so that's the general rule. So Rojan, you got your stats done.
Yep.
Mags, go ahead and give us your rolls.
Oh, Bessie, here we go.
He hasn't decided yet, Atlas.
As I said,
Mags with all the 12s.
my decision is going to be very much based on party alignment as to not rock the proverbial boat.
Or the physical boat.
This is true as well, yes.
Rock the boat.
Well, you stopped getting 12s, but they're not better than 12.
Shh.
She's got this under control.
Hey, it's better than 12 this time. By 1.
6, 1, 1.
Green is
Hey!
poison breath, if I remember correctly. I know black is acid.
I can actually...
Then get out of here.
This. Can I
Okay.
link to that? Yes, I can. There we go.
Yeah.
There's a link to the D&D Beyond Dragonborn stuff.
So you're going to drop the 10 mags?
Yep.
1, 2,
So I've got a
3,
12,
4,
a 12, a 12, a 13, a 15, and an 11.
All right. Sounds good. And Ravenslark, go ahead and roll your stats for us.
Oh, let dice be good to me for once.
Not a bad start.
Okay.
Damn.
I'm having flashbacks. Oh. All right, we're at what? 5,
Yep.
6, and one more.
Yep.
Gee, it looks like we're dropping a 12.
Does. So you got a
Damn good stats.
15, 16, 13, 17, 12, and 16.
All right.
Can I just like have you roll stats for my characters from now on?
HB, this is par for the course from me rolling D&D characters. One I rolled had 3 18s on the board.
God damn.
DM was like, no way. I'm not dealing with this.
See, whereas
Yeah.
when I rolled the stats for Cassius, I think I had 3 11s on the board.
Yeah, like I'll do that to like in my campaigns to where if somebody doesn't have an average ability bonus of +1, they can re-roll. But if they have like over plus like 10, I make them re-roll.
Strength 2, charisma 1. Okay.
So now for shits and giggles, I'm going to roll the stats for my character. All the d20s.
Oh, the hell.
That's strength.
Yep.
30 d20. Damn.
It's fine. No, I actually didn't roll very well. I see at least 4 or 5 botches and only 2 crits in there. That was kind
There's
of
a lot of
terrible.
ones.
That was kind of horrible. Get them out of the way now while they don't count. Okay, so Zoro is working on her blood hunter. You have a name?
Yes, her name is Jenka Ruvok.
Okay. And you guys do me a favor, because I will absolutely never ever remember character names.
It's on the list.
Go up to your cog, and where it says like player name, just put your display name. Put your character name in brackets or something there, so that I can remember who is what character. Leave your regular name, but just put the character name in brackets. So that way, when I go to say, "Hey, HP Fox, what the hell was your character's name?" I can just look down at the thing and it'll tell me, and it makes my life a whole lot easier. Oh, what else was I gonna?
There we go.
This is ridiculous.
Jinka. All right. Jinka is a tiefling demon hunter going Curse of the Lycan. Do you want to talk about her, or do you want to get into like doing some build for her first?
Probably build for her first.
Okay. All right. So you've got your stats rolled. You've got your class and your race picked. So that's all taken care of. So we need to do kind of her background a little bit. What languages does she speak? I saw you type or throw them out there earlier, but
Yes. I start off with 2, and then I get to pick another one. I did this last night. There was a reason why I could pick another one. I think it had to do with once I got my Crimson Right or something, I was able to learn like an additional language. So I technically know 3. Common and Infernal, and Abyssal.
okay. All right. So do you have a background picked out for her yet, by any chance? JD the Rocker, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a bit.
This is of course going off of like what's listed on like D&D Beyond. So she's more closely to the haunted one.
Okay, which was
Basically
out of...
something that happened to her past that she can't let go, that she needs either revenge or something she needs to fulfill.
Okay.
That's dark.
And I have that over there, but I'm not going to go get it because I'm lazy. But yeah, that background came out of the Curse of Strahd adventure, from what I remember.
Oh, cool.
Which was, if you're not familiar with D&D, is their gothic horror adventure that they published 2 years ago. Yeah. So with that one, and this is kind of an interesting thing with that background, one of the things that you got was a trinket of some sort.
Yes, it is her necklace.
Okay, tell me about it.
It belonged to her father, and it is basically it's her family crest, basically. And it's been passed down to her through the generations of her family line. So not only is it very special to her because it's like her family's honor, but it also was passed down to her from her father, who was the only blood family she had growing up.
Okay. Was mom? What happened to mom?
Mom died young. She just got really sick when she was a baby, probably like 2 years old, maybe. So she just died from a sickness, and her father was a pirate, so piracy is kind of in her blood.
Okay. No, mom didn't die from childbirth complications or anything. It was she got sick. Okay.
She just got really sick.
Was this like a
basically a fever? Nothing too terribly complicated or anything. She just had a fever, and she was already so far gone that by the time the doctors came, there was nothing they could do for her.
Okay.
It was just a fever.
So for the mechanics background, you get an ideal, a bond, and a flaw on your for your character. So what is your character's ideal? And if they don't have them listed, I can go grab the book and read them off to you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, because again, I just kind of went off of what closely related to her, I guess, through D&D Beyond, but it was a very short list, so I don't know if it's the same like in the book. So going straight off of what I found was there's an evil within me. I can feel it. It must never be set free.
Okay. Yeah, that's the ideal, is that your character is striving to be better than what she feels like she is internally.
Yes.
So that's the ideal, and that's definitely on one of those tables. All right, so what about the bond? It sounds like you may actually have access to those tables then. Because they are kind of
you know what? That actually was the bond, I think.
Oh, okay.
Actually. Again, going straight off of what I found, I'll stop the spirits that haunt me or die trying.
Yeah.
As I kill monsters to make the world a better place and exercise my own demons.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like she's one of those people that like may not see a whole lot in herself, but is working to change that.
Yes.
And working to kind of make sure that the world is a better place because she's in it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about a flaw?
Flaw, and this is not the vice, right?
No, this is not the
Which-
vice. The vice will be different.
Okay. I haven't really thought of it too thoroughly, but she has certain rituals that she must follow that are her own, not necessarily have to do with her order. It's just kind of like her own thing to kind of keep her sane and keep her herself throughout the day. Again, I haven't thought out the details just yet, but I know I want to do something with that.
Okay.
Where she's got to do this every day.
All right. Yeah, and we can definitely talk about that off camera as well. So one thing I do want to talk about now is the flaw or the vice.
Okay.
Now for Blades in the Dark, there were a couple of options for vices. One of them was like gambling. One of them was spending time in the company of the fairer sex or the opposite sex. One of them was gambling. I think I may have just said that twice. One of them was drinking or drugs. One of them was shopping. So what kind of vice? And those are just kind of suggestions we can talk through because this is going to be something we're just kind of adding on. What kind of vice does Jinka have?
She loves the rum.
Okay. So drinking. All right. So anytime that the way that we're going to do this is go ahead and just add, maybe in the flaw section on the sheet or somewhere where you can reference it easily, add vice and drinking.
Okay.
The way this is going to work is when you guys come into port, your character has to indulge in that vice.
Okay.
If they do not, they get a level of exhaustion.
No!
Um,
She has a flask on her all the time, just in case.
That can be a thing, but if that flask gets stolen by one of your crewmates and you get to shore and you don't realize it and you don't make it to the tavern before it closes, then you'll get a level of exhaustion.
Rage.
The levels of exhaustion from the vices will, if you go out, if you leave port without indulging in your vice, and you come back and you leave port again without indulging in your vice, then you now have 2 levels of exhaustion, and that's the way it'll work. If you come back and indulge in your vice, then you'll remove 1 level of exhaustion.
Okay.
All right. What kind of weapons and armor are we talking about for Jen?
They wear leather armor. It could be like leather or leather chained, but it's not exactly heavy or too light. A nice medium, I guess. So in her case, it would be leather armor.
Okay.
I have pictures and stuff that are like not officially done yet, so I'll have to show you later. But she's just in leather.
Okay.
I was on the fence about it because I have no idea if I want to do archery or dual daggers. But I feel like since it already sounds like we have a couple of melee type characters, I may want to do archery just to give us a ranged character.
Okay, and I'm pretty generous with starting equipment. So if you want to take a bow and 2 daggers, like go for it. I don't have any problem with that. And then you can just kind of figure out situationally what you think will work better.
Okay. I mean, both of them have to go into my dexterity anyway, so it kind of works out. It's just kind of like, which one?
Yeah, take both of them, and that's fine.
Okay.
I don't have any problem with that. So now we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about her, and what I want to know is she has some sort of, other than her family heirloom, some sort of prized possession on her. What is it?
She has a short sword that she doesn't really use. It's just kind of a keepsake, mainly because she's terrified of it being stolen or shatters, because it was originally her father's sword, and when he passed from a tragic past that she will not reveal, other than to the DM, it was broken, and so she took it to a smith that turned it into a short sword, and now that's kind of sacred to her, and she'll occasionally keep it on her hip just to have it with her. But for the most part, she won't really use it.
Okay. So it's kind of one of those things that she maybe hangs it on a plaque in her cabin on the wall somewhere, and it just only comes down if she's feeling reminiscent.
Yeah, she'll keep it in a chest,
Okay.
actually, like one of those flat like sword cases
That
that
works.
has a lock and everything. So yeah.
Okay. What is she superstitious about?
Oh God, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what she'd be superstitious about. I guess if I had to choose, I guess she'd be superstitious about she's superstitious about the cheating death. Like she thinks it's wrong. She thinks it's unnatural, and if you kind of dabble in that it's bad juju.
Okay. So not a huge fan of resurrection spells, not a huge fan of zombies and skeletons, I imagine.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I had something else a second ago, and I forgot what it was. Tell me about a scar that she has.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so wait, we're talking like physical or emotional?
Either one.
Because she's got both.
Either one.
So again, having to do with her past, when her father passed away, that's actually her scar. I'll start with that one. Her emotional scar is she witnessed the death of her father and her crew by something horrible, and she did everything in her power to help, and she couldn't do anything. And that was her family. That was the only people she knew. So to have that completely ripped away from her scarred her to the point where she has trust issues, because she feels like if she gets too close, even something as simple as just friends, she is afraid that that's going to be taken away from her. So she wants to have friends. She wants to have these connections. But until she succeeds in her revenge, she is kind of terrified to open herself up to others.
Okay.
And then because of that battle, she has this really like this terrible scar that kind of wraps around her right forearm, and it goes up to a little bit onto her hand, and she constantly keeps that wrapped.
Okay. Does she keep it wrapped because she's worried it's going to get infected, or does she keep it wrapped because she thinks it's ugly?
She actually thinks it's cursed.
Okay.
But she's also ashamed of it, because that was basically a reminder to her that she failed to save her family.
Okay. What does she think the curse is?
She thinks that it was given to her by the thing that took her family away, because that's what gave it to her. But in exchange, she gave a similar scar back. And so she thinks that there's some way that it's bound to her that actually, if unchecked, if it's she feels like if she has it unbound, there are actually moments where she loses herself to it and her wolf form comes out and she cannot control it. But if it's wrapped, she has more control over it.
Okay. What is her lichen form? Or her were form?
I mean, like, what does it look like?
Yeah, like what kind of were creature? Because you at third level, you get the ability to change into your lichen form at will, almost. Or I guess it's at will.
Oh yes, it is at will. Yeah. Especially if you choose the path to control it. She's a regular werewolf.
Okay.
I like being the wolf.
Okay. So werewolf, lycanthrope. Got it.
Yeah.
How does she describe her dress for us? So paint a picture of kind of what she looks like if she's standing on a ship there.
She has, so her hair she's got gray skin. She's got horns that kind of curl back like a dragon, so they don't do the traditional like the curl like a ram or anything like that. She has like aqua hair that's like pulled into a braid that she has in the front that's kind of long. She has, it's kind of a corseted coat. So it's got the I don't know what you call that, the flaps or the
like high collar.
Collar. Yeah.
A lapel.
And it's low cut into almost looks like a corset that's slim fitting down to about her hips. And then off to the side, it flares almost like a coat, like tails to a coat, but it's off to one side covering a leg instead of straight back like a normal jacket. She's wearing shorts and a sash, kind of like a traditional pirate sash. That's got like the loose pieces on the side. She's got a couple of belts that she uses to hold her daggers that crisscross on her hips. And she's wearing, kind of think of like what the cowboys wear, the chaps.
Mm-hmm.
But it's with the shorts, so obviously it's just like the straight up chaps on the side, so you still see skin on like the front and the back. And then she's got knee-high boots on that fold over like traditional pirates, steel-toe boots. And then she also has she actually only has one sleeve that goes down. It's actually the sleeve that's on the same side as her scar, so it completely covers that, as well as two like black gauntlets on each hand.
Okay. I like it. Why did she take up piracy? I mean, you said that it was part of her family
Blood.
history. Okay.
She's a daddy's girl, so I mean, not only was she born into a pirate family, but she embraced it 100% and just loves the thrill and freedom of being a pirate.
Okay. I like it. Let's see. HP Fox, how are you? Are you ready to talk about your character?
Some parts of it, probably.
Okay. So you are playing, and I'm trying to remember. It's not the turtle. It's not the dragonborn. It's not the
Lizard
tiefling.
folk.
It's the lizard folk bard. College of
Yes.
Swads.
Swans.
He's from
Swab.
Boston.
Yep.
He boxes his kind of Harvard Yard.
Those plastic Boston lizards.
No. For anybody watching from Boston, I apologize for that terrible accent.
I mean, it's pretty accurate, though, let's be honest.
My exposure to Boston is having been there for a PAX East and watching Goodwill Hunting. So, that's about it. All right, so we have a College of Swads bard, lizard folk who doesn't sing, doesn't play musical instruments.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about him. Have you picked out ideals and bonds and flaws and a background?
So I think I'm kind of halfway through that, but I guess I'll start with his name.
Probably important, yeah.
Probably. So lizard folk don't really have traditional names. They more or less just use draconic words that describe themselves or what they've done as their name. So because apparently I hate all of you, I used a draconic phrase as my character's name. And it is Zu Los Al Zu. So that is it essentially just means I am who I am.
Ross Al
I'm gonna
Ghul,
call him
got it.
Zuzu.
I mean, you could. Probably wouldn't care. And I'll add that to my name plate thingy here.
I'm gonna butcher the fuck out of it every single time.
Just think of the Gargoyle episode from Futurama. Zuzu.
Well, you can just call him Zoo.
Zuzu.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with, like, for his background, go with the guild artisan template, and rather than like actual guilds, like adventuring guilds and stuff, I'm just thinking those are kind of the factions, the pirate factions.
Yeah, we can do that.
And he would be most closely related, I think, to the merchant group, because he, rather than being kind of a protector of that forest area down in the southeast,
Yeah.
he kind of took it upon himself to instead be a trader, almost a traveling trader, going between the factions and moving supplies between groups and that sort of thing. He's not really the swamp type, I guess you could say.
It's a little bit more nomadic than.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
He's not averse to traveling with people or anything. It just happens to be the life that he found himself in. And his colors kind of reflect not being in the dark, dank swamp for his whole life. So instead of that like deep green that the lizard folk usually are, he's more of like a pale sage green almost, with bright purple eyes, and his frills are like yellow, kind of going into red at the tips.
Okay. So we have an Argonian.
Yeah, actually, that's fairly accurate.
Okay. So tell me about or I guess before we get into that, what kind of armor and weapons does he use?
So I'm not 100% set on the weapons yet, since the stuff that I choose in my Bard subclass can reflect that. But I'm thinking probably dual scimitars.
Okay.
Since it's a finesse weapon, I can use Dex for that. And there's also stuff for dual wielding in the College of Swads.
Okay. And just kind of leather armor, it probably sounds like.
I think he's probably actually not going to wear any armor at all.
Okay.
He's not going to be naked, because we have some standards sometimes,
Do we?
like 5% of the time. But he's going to have, like, the bracers, and he's going to have pouches and that sort of thing. But being a lizard folk, he has natural armor with his scales, so he doesn't have a need for like reinforced leathers and stuff. Like Rojan's character, the turtle, he's going to have a fairly decent AC, even if he's just butt naked.
Yeah, just because he's a lizard folk, he's basically naturally wearing leather armor anyway.
Yeah.
So, okay, that makes sense. All right, so tell me about a prized possession that he has.
A prized possession. I'm gonna get a little metaphorical with this and slightly sappy, and say a heart.
Like a physical, actual heart?
Not a physical, actual heart.
And all of a sudden, like,
Aw.
Pirates of the Caribbean pops into my head.
The heart of the ocean?
I've got a job to it.
During his travels and trade between factions, he met a rather friendly mermaid in the northeast and became rather smitten with her. And anytime he's in that area, he visits her and they have a good time. Let's not go deeper into that.
Yeah, I'm not role-playing that, by the way.
Yeah, let's
Please
not.
do.
But that's kind of the one thing that he prizes, is her company.
Okay. And so does he have a physical representation of that relationship?
Yes. Let's go with just a seashell from the area that's kind of shaped like a scale that you would see on a mermaid.
Okay. So does he keep it on him? Is it on a necklace? Like, how does he keep up with it?
That is a good question. I'm gonna say he had it kind of embedded in his bracer.
Okay. All right. What is he superstitious of?
The afterlife. In that he doesn't want to partake in the afterlife. We had that one faction of pirates that was, I don't remember what their name was. It was like the deniers of something.
Oh,
The
yeah.
people that don't like death.
I think it was the deniers of fate.
Something like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
You'll find it. Hang on. If I can remember where I put all these sections. Deniers of Paradise.
Yes, those ones.
Oh, that's yeah.
I want to say he spent a fair amount of time with people from that faction, and whether he subscribes to their cult or not, their kind of views and perceptions of the afterlife has kind of seeped into his mind, and he's like, well, you know what, maybe these guys have a point, type of thing.
Okay. So not super keen on dying or going to see Port Paradise anytime soon.
Yeah, he's, for all intents and purposes, he doesn't believe that paradise is a thing, or believes it should be a thing that should be avoided.
Okay. Has he got any scars?
He does. He has quite a few, actually, just from regular battles, but the most noticeable ones are probably scars like all around his maw. Like if you looked at a really old alligator or something, they're always all scarred up around their face from fights and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He has scars very similar to that.
How did he come by them?
Initially, when he decided to leave the kind of clan of lizard folk and decided that protecting that island or stopping people from going to that island wasn't worth his time, they were not very happy with that, and they got in a bit of a scrap.
Okay. So these are scars. Does he wear them proudly? Because these are things that he's like, I left and my home and set out and created a life for myself and even paid this price? Or is this something that he's kind of hides and is ashamed of and like doesn't want other lizard folk to see?
He doesn't pay them too much mind outside of that northeastern area of the island, but if he's ever in that vicinity, he tries to kind of keep them out of view.
Okay.
Which is very difficult because they're all over his face.
Okay. So does he have like a hood that he pulls up or like a mask that he drapes?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. He just puts on a base cloak or something and just kind of flips the hood up.
Okay. Let's see. How many crews has he been a part of?
I'm thinking probably just 2, because I don't think the lizard folk one will count as a crew. One would be kind of hanging out with the Deniers of Paradise people and helping them with their Shipley stuff. And the other would be the merchant flotilla, when he kind of fell into the guild artisan type of role.
Okay. And then I think last question probably about Zoo. Why is he no longer a part of the merchant flotilla?
He didn't feel comfortable, really, staying in that one spot, simply because of the dealings that they have with everybody. He felt it was too kind of open for his personality. There was too much come and go with all the people. Even though he does like to trade between the factions, he doesn't really want to put his face out there at the same time. And being a part of the flotilla that everybody on the island knows about, it was just too public for him. He kind of leaned more towards the privateer type of trading.
Okay. I lied. I have one more question. How does Zoo feel about dogs?
Dogs are not a thing that exist in this world, so I don't know.
All right. Rojan, you ready to talk about your character?
Yup. Sorry, I had to find the unmute button.
Nope,
I
no
was copy pasting a lot of barbarian stuff onto the character sheet.
So let's start out with the name.
So it is inspired from Ninja Turtles. My character's name is Toka, the Shark's Fury.
Okay. So Toka is a barbarian turtle.
A barbarian turtle.
All right. So no armor for him. So that's an easy one to kind of.
Yep. He's got no armor. He wields a greatsword.
Okay.
Shaped out of whalebone.
Okay. I like it. What about background and flaws and ideals and all that fun stuff?
Background, I took the Outlander because the turtle is not a homebody. The moment they're able to move and just get out, they go out and see the world. They have a natural wanderlust about them. So I figured the Outlander would be perfect for that.
Okay.
Being from a very social race, personality traits, he watches over his friends like they were a litter of newborn pups. At times, he can be a mother hen to the group. For his ideals, life is like the seasons in constant change, and we have to change with it.
Okay. So he's very adaptable. He just goes with the flow, but makes sure that the people around him that he cares about are protected and aren't getting themselves into any shit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Bonds. Again, my friends are the most important thing in my life, even when they are far from me.
Okay.
And then my flaw is there is no room for caution in a life lived to the fullest. So there will be at times where he just throws caution to the wind and just charges into something.
Okay. So we've got this whalebone greatsword. How did he come by that?
It was given to him as a present from his tribe on the day of his proving his adulthood.
Okay. What's the turtle proving look like? What do they do for that?
It all depends on what path they are taking, since this is a path that of a barbarian, a path of danger and a path of violence. He was commissioned to go and slay a dangerous creature and bring back a trophy. And for him, and it's also a part of how he got the name, he went into the ocean and slayed a great white shark. And he now wears its teeth as an armband and around his wrist.
Okay. Let's see. Any kind of prized possessions on him?
Pretty much the scars that he wears and the chips in his shell, just anything that was like a sense of combat.
Okay, so very kind of combat oriented, like proving himself in battle, kind of thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about his family.
His family is dead. Turtles do not mate until near the end of their life cycle. And they have a couple years after the child is born before they pass away. So both his parents are gone.
Okay.
It's more that his family is anybody that he considers a friend, anybody that he has made any connection that he has made out in the world through his life. He considers them close to be family.
Okay. There was a point in Taka's life where someone he protected and cared about as this friend met their end, and Taka was either not able to help them or could only watch on. And tell me what happened.
That would probably be around the time that he was with the monster hunters. Being a wanderer, he's had an extensive life, and at one point he served under them, possibly fighting some one of the greater beasts on the mainland. They may have gotten separated by another pack at the time, and due to the commotion, Toka was unable to protect him, which has only strengthened his resolve to ensure that those he cares about are safe from harm, even if it means he has to put himself in immense danger.
Okay. Is he superstitious about anything?
He's not really superstitious. He's more interested in the superstitions of others.
Okay.
He has kind of like a dark fascination with everybody's views on what's superstitious and what's unlucky, and the whole idea of it intrigues him.
Okay. Tell me about one of his more prominent scars.
One of his more prominent scars is his missing left eye that he received in a arena bout when he was working as a prize fighter, and due to some unlucky action, he ended up catching an axe bit directly to the face.
Okay. How did that fight conclude?
The fight concluded with him losing. Being disoriented from both the pain and the loss of depth perception at the time kind of threw his balance off.
Okay. Does he wear a patch over it, or is it something that he displays proudly?
Oh no, he displays it proudly as it's a learning point for him.
Okay. How does he feel about the traveling turtle merchant kind of setup?
They are living their lives. That is the path that they chose in life, and they are thriving.
Okay. All right, and I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take a break there. I gotta go find some Advil or something, and we'll come back here in about 5 minutes. We'll talk about Mags' character and Ravenlark's character, and go through their kind of stories a little bit, and then we'll talk about how your characters know each other. Because I do want to start out with you guys knowing each other as part of a crew, but maybe you knew each other beforehand, and we'll figure that out. So you folks that are watching at home, hey, thanks for hanging out with us as we create characters for Keelhauled, which is our pirate D&D game we're going to be playing on Wednesday nights. If you haven't done so already, do me a favor and hit the follow button, and also retweet this link that I'm going to drop in chat, so that you can let other folks know that you're hanging out and watching us. And we're going to get up, stretch legs, all that good fun stuff, and be back here in about 5 minutes or so. We'll see you then.
Ahí lo tienes todo, prima, lo tienes todo. Buena persona, buen corazón. Buena persona, buen corazón. Me hago la ilusión. Me hago la ilusión, luego de rabia me como los puños del camisón. Luego de rabia me como los puños del camisón. Ahí lo tienes todo, prima, lo tienes todo. Buena persona, buen corazón. Buena persona, buen corazón.
It is time to go now. Haul away your anchor. Haul away your anchor. 'Tis our sailing time. Get some sail upon her. Haul away. Sailing time. Get her on her course now. Haul away your foresheets. Haul away your foresheets. It's our sailing time. are surging under. All the way down channel. All the way down channel. On the evening time. When your sailing's over. All the way for heaven. All the way for heaven. God be by your side. It is time to go now. All the way your anchor. All the way your anchor. It's our sailing time. Billy Riley! Old Billy Riley was a dancing master. Old Billy Riley, 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 master of a drogue. Old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley, master of a drogue, bound for Antigua. Old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley, master of a drogue. Old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley has a nice young daughter. Old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley, old Missy Riley, little Missy Riley. Old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley, old Missy Riley, old Billy Riley had a pretty daughter, but we can't get at her. Old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley had a pretty daughter. Old Billy Riley, screw her up and away we go, boys. Old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley, screw her up and old Billy Riley. One more pull and then belay, boys. Old Billy Riley, old Billy Riley, one more pull and old Billy Riley, oh.
All right, we are back. Welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
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 So
Hi.
that's the wrong screen. There we
Good job.
Nope, that's the wrong screen too.
I'm not waving again.
There we go.
Missed it.
All right.
One-time deal.
Imp, I had we came across the question we probably should have asked you earlier.
Okay.
What are we doing hit point wise?
So first level, take full max. Second,
Okay.
third, roll for it.
Okay.
And it's your hit dice plus your Constitution modifier for those who
Yep.
are unaware. So I need to go back to HP Fox and to Rojan's characters real quick because I realized during the break that I forgot to ask you things. HP Fox, what is Zuzu's vice?
Okay, so this is actually something that I wanted to ask you about because I couldn't find any decent information on it myself, at least not for 5e. Is there a vampirism affliction rather than just like a straight up vampire? All I could find was just stats for vampires and stuff, but like I'm looking for like disease wise, is there an affliction of vampirism?
Let's see.
So I'm thinking since he spent a lot of time with the crew that try to, stave off death, it would make sense.
It is a form of undeath in D&D. So the vampire, the mortal form is killed, and then a vampire is raised. So it's not... I think you're thinking like Skyrim-wise, there was like a disease that would give vampirism.
Yeah, because it's...
But I'm okay with us making one. I mean, we can totally homebrew this. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and I
in
mean,
fact, it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting idea. So
doesn't
I'm
even
okay with
necessarily have to be like any real beneficial effects to it, but it's perfect for a vice, having to have that sustenance every X days or whatever to stave off exhaustion and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think we can work with that. I will sit down and look at the D&D rules for vampirism and figure out something that we can homebrew to make that a thing. I think I can think of a couple things off the top of my head, but I want to sit down and write it out so I don't unbalance it just by rattling stuff off.
Okay, sounds
yeah,
good.
we can do that. So he needs to imbibe fresh blood
Yep,
whenever he's in port.
sounds perfect.
So that leads me to a question. When you're at sea for great lengths of time, what does he do? Does he keep the ship free of rats? Like,
Yeah, I think you go for the classic, well, go for pests first, animals second, people last resort type of thing. So our ship would be curiously free of rodents, and any sort of hunting kills that we get, he would probably be the first to help clean the animal before butchering it.
okay. And I think that I'm pulling that keeping the ship free of rats from Interview with a Vampire, although it's been several years since I've watched that. But I think at one point there was something that when what's his name? Not Tom Cruise. Brad Pitt's character crosses over from England to America. I think,
An Interview with a Vampire?
yeah, I think I remember them talking about keeping the ship free of rats. So I think that's where I pulled that from. But it's actually been a long time since I've watched that movie or read the book. But yeah, Rojan, what is Taka's vice?
Society. He has to be around people. As long as he's able to be around some form, like some group of people or some form of civilization to where he can converse with people and learn more about their ways. It's just something that just drives him. He feels that he has to learn everything he can about the people of this island.
Okay. I mean, for mechanics wise, because you're essentially indulging in these vices anytime that you come into port, that's not really a vice because you're in civilization if you've come into port. So I think we need something else. Does he have to go participate in the fighting arena anytime that
No,
he comes
I
into
was
port?
thinking about that, like just like going back to like the glory days of being a prize fighter. So yeah, let's do that. Prize fighting.
Okay.
Anytime he's in port, he needs to find a fighting pit or a fighting arena or something to participate in.
Let's take that one step further, just so that I have a little bit of leeway with the vice, and we can I can play with it a little bit more. He has to win a fighting arena.
All right.
He has to win a bout in a fighting match whenever he comes into port.
Gotcha. All right, we can do that.
All right, Mags, let's talk about the characters that you always make that I can't pronounce their names. Arlen?
Close enough.
I tried. Arlen? Aelin?
That'll work. That's fine.
How are you thinking?
Arlene?
Arlene? Okay.
Or Erlen,
Erlen?
but yeah, Arlen works as well. That's fine.
Arlen. I will try to get it right. That was just my initial, like, I grew up with I forgot what the name of it was that they were teaching to read when I was a kid, and it, like 2 years later, determined, no, this is garbage. We shouldn't teach this to kids. Unfortunately, I was one of those 2 years where they taught it. So my like on-site reading of words I've never seen before is garbage.
Yeah, no, that's fine. For short, she does go by Ari. So
Ari? Okay.
that makes it easier.
Okay, so what is Ari? Is a tiefling.
Yeah, she's still a tiefling, but I decided I'm going to go with something I'm a little bit more familiar with, and instead of trying to fight with all these different domains and figuring out how I want to do shit, we're going rogue assassin. Because I also had to think about her backstory a little bit, and going cleric just didn't fit the bill.
Okay. So rogue assassin. So one of the things that I want to call out now, and this will be something that you guys don't have to worry about at the moment, but when you get your own ship you will, is that you probably want to make sure that you have some sort of medical doctor or practitioner on your ship, because it sounds like we now have no one that heals, which is fine. Especially you guys can take like points in medicine and stuff.
I can probably fill that role with some sort of amalgamation of my medicine, survival, and cunning artisan abilities.
So it's just something to think about when you start crewing your own ship, is like, hey, these are a position that we as players don't fill. We should probably make sure we hire an NPC that does. Yeah. But okay, so we're going assassin rogue tiefling and not death domain cleric tiefling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with assassin rogue, what background did you go with, or have you gotten that far yet?
The background is the assassin, I thought.
That's the subclass. The backgrounds were stuff like, were you a soldier? Were you a sage? Were you a pirate? Were you a haunted one? Was for Zoros. If you haven't gotten there, that's fine. We can skip over and we'll come back to it. Okay, cool. No, that's fine. What is she? How does she dress? What kind of weapons does she use?
She dual wields short swords.
Okay.
And she has knives on backup.
No quarterstaff?
No. I'm trying to leave that part of my life behind. Her outfit's pretty straightforward. She's midriff with just a single piece bustier. The top's like a poof sleeve jacket that's just left open with the lapels lifted and they end at the elbows. Her hips are covered with this really long sash that ends just above her knees. That's not really that long, but whatever. And shorts underneath that with a little hip satchel that carries some of her poisons.
Okay. Any kind of... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. She doesn't wear any kind of boots or anything because she comes from several lines of tieflings, breeding with tieflings, so she has a lot of those features, and so she has the digigrade legs with the very primal looking feet, so she can't wear boots.
Okay. So she's almost got like demon claws for feet.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looking.
Yep.
Okay. So if you were running into like a devil or a demon, you would see the same like very impish clawed feet. Okay.
The only other thing is like somewhere in the family lineage there was a drow, and you know it's been a while since that's been reintroduced, but she got the wild card when it came to genetics. So she's got the white hair, she's got the really dark blue, almost black skin. Her eyes have, instead of being red or anything, she has no eye coloration. She can still see just fine, but she's very light.
Are you serious? And frames dropped again. And my net pooped again.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just missed the end of the description, and... and the net's probably going to buffer for a minute for folks. I've got to pick up a router this weekend. Alright, so she's got the white hair, black skin, and her has no real
eyes,
like whites of her eyes.
It's almost like it's pure sclera, but she can see. Okay. It's just she's extremely light sensitive.
Okay.
In order to counteract that, what she's done is, because they make all these pretty bottles and glass that has the color pigment to it, she's fashioned sunglasses for herself out of that.
Okay.
Just to help with the light.
All right. Let's see. How about a prized possession?
Her prized possession happens to be a pendant charm. It looks like a glass fish hook. It's about the size of her palm. I haven't really thought of a backstory behind it, but it's just something she's always had, so it's kind of precious to her.
Okay. What's her vice?
Her vice... Gosh, I feel like it would be gambling with her life. Not necessarily like in fighting, but just... She's always got to prove herself, and she'll never turn down a dare, basically.
Okay. So
even if it means like, hey, I hear that this is like the most potent toxin there is out there. She will start like taking small samples of it to build an immunity to it.
Okay. Iocane powder.
Basically, yeah.
All right. So do not get into a land war with Mags's character. Let's see. What else can I ask? Tell me about her family. Are they still around? How does she feel about them?
No. And she's not... No. She was basically birthed, and because she popped up those traits of drow, like, tieflings have it bad enough. They're always looked at with like, oh, don't know if I trust that. But with her having almost distinct drow traits, they're like, okay, no, you are bad jub. Off you go. We don't care if you live or die. You are on your own, child. So she's been an orphan and a scrapper for as long as she can remember.
Okay. Is she superstitious?
Only about certain things, like, because she had to raise herself for the most part. She's picked up a couple superstitions from people that have helped her out along the way, but, eventually they just kind of cast her off, because she is trouble. She's always got to prove herself. She's always got to, prove things like, I can't be killed, kind of thing. And she would probably... I think in that aspect, she would probably drive Zoro's character up a wall because she's constantly trying to cheat death.
Okay.
Damn it, Mags. Damn it.
As far as actual superstitions, I can't really think of one other than she's definitely scared of the Black Marquis.
Okay. The Black Marquis, for folks that weren't here last week when we talked through legends in our world, if I remember correctly, and I'm gonna go back and check to make sure. The Black Marquis was the ghost pirate ship.
Yeah, he was kind of like this world's iteration of the Grim Reaper. He claims your soul and carries you off, and if you can't pay your debt, you have to serve on his ship. Something like that.
Yep. And the ship that we kind of talked about. There's a ship in the latest Pirates of the Caribbean movie that like wrenches up out of the water and will actually swallow ship's whole kind of thing. Its hull kind of cracking open as a big maw. So that's kind of what we pulled for inspiration for the Black Marquis. And that is essentially if you do not collect enough money in life to buy your way into Port Paradise, you serve out the rest of your time on the Black Marquis. As its crew. Okay. Does she have any tattoos?
Both of her arms are covered in tribalized tattoos, similar to what you see on Drow, whereas instead of ink, it's venom, which causes the skin to blister and turn white.
Okay. All right. I have other questions, I'm sure, and I'm spacing on what they were. We talked about the vice. We talked about superstitions and family and prized possessions. Tell me about a time that she was either discriminated against or given a hard time because she's a tiefling.
Oh, let's see. Let's pick one. No, I think the one time that probably stands out, and as I was talking to Lacey about it, was I think that's how their characters met is, and it's also how she got one of her scars is, always being accused of being the worst of both worlds, and they were going to do away with her because, a superstitious group was like, no, you are a bad omen, you need to go. And so they were actually going to slit her throat and be done away with her. She actually has a scar from where they started cutting. And that was when Jenka actually happened to come across and actually saved her butt.
Okay. And I guess that answers my scars question. So.
Yep.
All right. I don't think I have any more questions for you. We have something that I'm going to do once we're done character creation. Then we'll come back to more stories. So that's good. A good little introduction there. Ravenslark.
Yes.
You are playing trying to remember, Dragonborn Paladin?
No.
No.
You're not allowing paladins.
That's right. Dragonborn Fighter. That's right. Great
There we
weapon
go.
fighter. I remembered it was a Dragonborn with a big stick, and that's about as far as I got. So Dragonborn Fighter.
Yes.
What subclass are you doing for fighter? A great weapon? Or no, it was Battlemaster.
Battlemaster, and then of course going for the great weapon stuff.
All right, so tell me about his armor and weapons. Or actually, sorry, before I get to that, what color did you end up going with?
I was humming and hawing. We're gonna go with green.
Okay. So green, if I remember correctly, spits poison and is immune to poison. I may have that wrong, but I think that's right.
Immune to poison, and does a poison cone.
Okay. All right. So tell us about armor and weapons that. Oh, actually, what's his name?
Arias Eventide.
Arias. Okay.
Yep.
So what weapons has Arias picked up?
The first one being a great spear. The equivalent of a giant two-handed harpoon.
Okay.
And to complement that, I'm actually going to be using javelins.
Okay. So javelins for ranged, and then the
Javelins
spear
for
close
ranged
up?
and closed with spear.
Okay. What's the spear look like? Is it anything that looks particular, or is it just like he grabbed it off the deck of a ship one day and said, "Yeah, this way is good," and went with it?
Nope. We're gonna go standard steel-tipped spear, but it's carved out of an ebon wood.
Okay.
So incredibly dark.
Ebon wood and iron for the metal, or
Probably steel.
steel? Okay.
Yep.
All right. What kind of armor does he wear, or does he wear any at all?
There is going to be armor. I'm thinking scale mail is the direction I want to go with this. Outside of that, it actually ties into the character. He's a trophy collector.
So like a little bit of serial killer trophies, or are we talking
No.
like?
No, so the backstory is he was actually raised in the monster hunting faction on the island.
Okay.
So basically every time something large was killed as a symbol of accomplishment, you take a trophy. Just something small like armor ornamentation.
Okay. So does his armor now has these trophies kind of hanging from it?
Yep.
Okay.
And they just get attached like onto the scale mail on the rings, holding it on.
Okay. What's his favorite one?
There is one from a giant whale that was brought down.
What's the trophy?
The trophy is a sliver of bone
Okay.
off the whale.
All right. Let's see. Any notable scars or stories around them?
Scars are plentiful, of course. That goes with the upbringing, of course, hunting larger things. Nothing really notable. Just plentiful.
Okay.
More than anything.
Is he superstitious?
Not superstitious per se, but more wary of the dark depths of the ocean.
Okay. So not a huge fan of being out where he can't see the bottom of the ocean.
It's not a huge fan of. It's more the knowledge that there's always something bigger and something scarier the deeper you go.
Okay.
I know Max is not enjoying this idea.
Subnautica.
Tell me about his family.
Family were part of the Monster Hunter faction, raised within. Father is dead due to a mishap during a hunt.
What was he hunting?
Leviathans.
Okay. All right. What is his vice?
His vice, exotic alcohols.
So he walks in and orders the top shelf bottle that has some dust on it because it hasn't been picked up in
Nope.
2 years.
Stuff that's made unconventionally.
Okay.
So if it's added in with the blood of something, or basically not something that would be mainstay, something that would be they would keep on hand, but no one really ever looks at it.
Okay. Any tattoos?
No.
Okay.
Any tattoos that would have been there are probably covered by scars and other.
Any intentional scarification then?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. So something I thought about that I need to go around and ask is, what is your character's preferred position on the ship? Either he hangs out in the crow's nest, or he prefers to man the cannons, kind of thing. Either answer is fine. Just kind of getting an idea of where your character, when they're out at sea, where can they be found?
Mine would probably be in the crow's nest, especially at night.
Okay.
Mine would definitely be on deck, around almost quartermasterish.
Okay. Just keeping an eye on everything and keeping a lookout for. I'm kind of going with your background that you gave me to guess at this, but keeping a lookout for any threats that may be on the horizon.
Any threats, and just always keeping an eye on everyone around him, in terms of are the weapons sharp? Are people? Is everybody prepared? Always.
Okay. All right. HP Fox, Virgin, and Zora. What about your Grace?
So I think my character's probably best suited for a cross between a Cooper and a boatswain. So the person that makes sure the ship stays in good repair, make sure all the supplies are kind of in a place where they aren't going to absorb a bunch of moisture in barrels, make sure the barrels are airtight. Just cleanliness of the ship. And that includes the kind of food. So that's kind of ties into him cleaning up the rodents, so to speak.
Okay.
I suppose since I'm officially going with Archer, FYI, since since we have a lot of melee. So because of that, she, I think she's more of the master gunner. So she would be good. She'd probably be the one manning the cannons and doing all the sniping and whatnot, whatever needs to be done when there's battle. So she'll probably be in charge of the cannons.
Okay. Rojan?
Oh man.
He's
I think
he's the figurehead on the ship with the hard shell.
I was gonna say like pretty much
Tied to the mast.
Probably the navigator.
Okay.
Just since like like the navigator / helmsman, seeing as how he loves exploring, and that would just give him the freedom to do so.
Okay. So we've got, at this point, your characters are created, at least 99% created. I'm sure you guys are going to give me some background stories and fun stuff for me to play with. But what I want to do now is kind of, we talked about your characters knowing each other before we start, being part of a crew already. And so in my head, you guys have gone out and you've sailed together in the past, whether under your current captain or maybe under a different captain. But what I want you to do is envision your characters sitting down at the table after dinner, drinking their ale and their grog. The seas are pretty calm. And I want you to tell me stories that, hey, remember that time that blank? And you guys tell me stories about stuff that your characters got into.
And this is just us as a whole, like what we've as a group experienced?
Yeah. And you guys build the stories together, but this gives me little things that I can pick at later, too.
Wow. Crap. I don't know. I just got to know these guys.
Well,
oh, goodness.
Let's see. Remember when Jinka fell overboard? What happened? How did she get saved? Why did she fall overboard?
Was drunk.
Actually, that's not bad. Maybe she was drunk and she tried to fire a cannon that wasn't tied down properly, and the force from the cannon knocked her overboard.
Why was she firing the cannon?
Because she was drunk.
She was drunk.
So she wasn't. She wasn't
we
actually.
haven't seen anything in days. These things are getting rusty. Fire the cannon.
All right. So you light the fuse, and the cannon kicks back, and in fact, it like knocks you across the deck, and you fall over the other side from where the cannon is, from the impact of the cannon running into you. Was this a? It sounds like it was a quiet night from your description. So you hear this cannon blast, and then you hear sploosh as Jinka hits the water. How'd she get rescued? How'd she get back on board?
I think that my character probably would have been the one too, because after Jenka having saved her butt, she feel like she would constantly always have to owe her that debt. So she would have probably been the one to go get her. But only problem is bad pirate, she can't swim, so she's just sitting there doggy paddling, trying to keep her above water.
Like, oh, help! Somebody help her!
So now we have two tieflings in the water, one of which is drunk, the other which can't swim. How did these two tieflings get back on board?
I think at that time Toka would jump in because there are now two drowning puppies in the water.
One's just kind of drunk and not really putting any effort into trying to swim.
And probably carrying them on his back as he's swimming, as he's getting back onto the ship.
Okay. All right, so we had a drunken night where Jinka gets launched overboard via a unsecured cannon, and has to go get rescued, and Erlen falls in behind her and realizes, oh, that's right, I can't actually swim, and they both have to go rescued by Toka. Okay. Tell me about the time. Or remember that time that the captain saw a mermaid and became obsessed with him? Or with her, rather.
A couple of the guys, probably Mag's character probably had to hold me back because I wanted to clobber the captain for doing something so stupid and wanted to go out and see the mermaid and put us into harm's way.
We ended up actually losing a couple men to this excursion.
Okay.
Couple fell overboard in the process.
Fell overboard.
Yeah,
It was more that they were voluntold by the captain to try to find the mermaid, and we just pushed them overboard.
Yeah, and then they got dragged down.
I think I probably would have supported the captain's decision to go see a mermaid, given my relationship to a mermaid.
Okay. So I have a little legend in my head about this captain that he's commanded his men to jump overboard to find this mermaid, and when they do, they get into the water. They find nothing but salt and some whiskey and some piss, and no sign of this mermaid. And so this captain goes off seeking this mermaid. His reputation generally ruined because there was nothing there, even though he claims that there was. And so now he sails around plundering and pillaging, trying to rebuild his reputation. And this is your old captain. And you guys have parted ways for whatever reason. Maybe before or after the plundering and pillaging started. But let's see. Tell me about a time that you guys saw a Leviathan.
I was ready to go. I was ready to take this thing on. I had such confidence.
I think at this point, we were probably all holding her back, knowing that that neither we nor the ship were equipped enough to take on a kraken.
No.
Like, I got see inside. I got it, guys. I got this.
And it forever has been mentally marked as something to hunt.
To come back to when we have the gear.
On my to-do list. They convinced me that at one point we'll come back. It's on our to-do list. So
Yes.
What if at some point we found a Leviathan that has a telltale scar?
That's where I was going.
It's the one that offed your father.
It's the white
It's your
whale.
white whale.
It's our white whale.
It's gonna die. That's what's gonna happen.
So I think what happens that night is it's just past sunset. You've got those grays in the air, and I think that Jinka sees it first and fires off a shot from her cannon, unprompted, uncommanded, and the cannonball actually hits and takes out a chunk of the armored spikes that normally grow back from these Leviathan heads on one side. And so now this Leviathan is marred by this large chunk of spike that is normally there is missing. And once you guys hear the shot go off, you come up to the deck and you realize what Jinka has done, attracting the Leviathan's attention. And so you all drag her back down below deck, and the captain hauls ass away. But now there's the one that got away out there, marred and it's scarred and marked, so that if you ever come across it again, you recognize it.
As long as it's not like the crocodile from Peter Pan and not following the ship. Going, I want my horn back.
Let's see. Tell me. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say, what about the time that Toka used Arlen as a projectile weapon to knock down a fleeing enemy?
Tell me about it.
She'd do it.
Yeah, we kind of ran into some trouble in one of the towns, and one person ended up insulting our not only our ship but our captain. And as pirate honor dictates, we have to defend that. But when we went out to the when we gave chase out through the alleyway, we were met with a couple more of his friends, and he began to turn tail and run as a coward. So I grabbed Arlen by the back of her coat and pretty much fastball specialed her over his friend so she can give chase to him.
Basically, I got this. Throw me.
Just don't tell the elf.
Pretty much.
Okay. Tell me about, or do you remember when you guys saw that ghost ship?
We try to forget.
What happened?
Yeah, I was not having it.
Mass hysteria kind of settled into a vast majority of the crew.
I
And
fell asleep on the crow's nest and didn't warn them it was coming.
yeah, and we then had to operate, like the ship had to operate under a very minimal crew, as a vast majority of the superstitious or very spooked crew locked themselves in their cabins.
Okay. Let's see. Tell me about the time that, and I'm gonna pick on Max just because I have a feeling that her character would do this. Tell me about the time that you guys had to stop Arlen, excuse me, from stealing from the turtle merchants.
They had shinies.
I think with that, it was Toka would have just like drug her out by the horn, kind of like an upset mother dragging a child by the ear.
Zoo would be there right with them.
Yeah.
How tall are turtles compared to like average height critters?
They're
Like,
7 to
height?
8 feet.
Yeah, they
Oh,
are
God.
very like Toka, and Toka looks like a crocodile snapping turtle.
Nice. Oh, guys.
So, and him being
Tiny.
the mother hen that he is, he probably gave you a very good scolding afterwards.
So does that mean I can't keep this?
No. You give it back.
I think Zoo would probably actually make her be the one to give it back to the merchant and apologize for stealing it.
Sounds about right.
Oh, the blow to her ego.
Didn't earn it, it's not yours.
But if it shines, it's mine.
Earn it.
I did. I stole it.
I think that's the thing with every one of Mag's characters. If it shines, it mines.
Tell me about the time that Toka and Zuzu almost came to blows on the ship.
Almost came to what?
To blows?
Fisticuffs. Fighting.
Turtle and the lizard going at it. Jeez. They're like
Yeah.
the calmest people in the group.
They were talking about which.
That's why I want to know what got him pissed off.
reptile-
Something must have been said.
Which reptile is more superior, lizard or turtle?
It may have even been when we got drunk and we kind of started like boasting about our clans and everything, and it kind of got out of hand.
Yeah, perhaps the martial ability of our clans.
Yeah,
That's something that we're both kind of into.
just the martial ability and who would be the more superior force in a war.
Yeah. Which it's kind of a terrible mental image because I'm picturing Toka as, this tall, intimidating turtle, whereas Zoo is actually really short for a lizard folk, only 5'6". So
Okay, you can just
like
take him out of the knee.
tiny little lizard trying to face off against this giant turtle.
How did you guys settle the argument?
I think we were separated.
Yep.
By the Dragonborn. Well,
I think yeah.
But like once we sobered up, Toka had a new form of respect for Zoo because, given the size difference, he didn't back down.
And I think maybe because of that incident, in kind of their leisure time, Toka and Zoo might like to have friendly duels with each other.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
and like it's friendly to the point to where they're doing it just not in a way that they're trying to maim or harm each other.
Yeah.
Okay. I've had sinus headache for the last week, so we are going to end a little bit early tonight, just because I'm sitting here going in my head and feeling my face run off my face. I don't have a better description for that. You know exactly what I mean when I described
I
it.
know, because I just imagined the feeling. I'm like, oh, you poor child.
So we do normally go to 10:30 with the show, but we're just going to cut it a bit short, about an hour or so this evening. Do you want to talk about a couple of things before we do? One is on Saturday, and this is super awesome, and I'm really excited for it and hoping that I feel much better on Saturday. Saturday, we are doing an 8-hour charity event for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. It's going to be myself, Animated Break, Dan Otage, Smashley, Spooner Sloth, and Mickey Panda. And we're going to go for 8 hours, and it's going to be a ridiculously silly D&D campaign to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So if you can be around, I understand that it's St. Patrick's Day, but wear your green and show up drunk if you want to. Drink some green beer and watch D&D. That's fine too. And come hang out with us while we raise money for the kids. Zora, for me, who are you? What do you do on the internet?
I am Zora for me 3. I am a variety caster / creative artist on Twitch. All over the place with games right now. Doing a lot of Critical Role fan art as of late. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. I forgot to mention this, so I'm going to interject it before we get to HP Fox. We are going to go on a raid here in just a second, so stick around so we can go show our love and support to another D&D cast on Twitch. I have somebody picked out. Hopefully they don't end before we get through this. So, HP Fox, who are you? What do you do on the internet?
I am HP Fox, and I'm the manager for the Hunter Wild. We have a community-focused variety cast here on Twitch, where discussion and conversation comes first, and gameplay comes like
Eventually.
14th or 15th.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually, sometimes not at all. And we actually just announced that we have joined the Flagship, which is a stream team here on Twitch full of fantastic people, and we are doing a bit of a celebration stream right now with lots of really neat giveaways. So if you have some time, stop by and say hi.
Right on. Rojan, who are you? What do you do on the internet?
I am Rojan Quest. I am one of the co-DMs here on Dungeons and Distractions, and I have my own channel which focuses on a variety of RPGs, FPS, and fighting games. Currently getting back into the swing of things after a move last week. So I'm going to start picking up my playthroughs of Mass Effect and Dragon Age Inquisition, as well as some Vermintide here and there, and planning on doing Ghost of a Tale and Final Fantasy 15 soon.
Right on. The boy band road trip simulator. Mags, who are you? What do you do on the internet?
I am Hybrid Magpie. I am primarily a creative caster here on Twitch. I mainly do emotes, overlays, channel art, character designs, just little cutesy stuff like that. And once in a blue moon, we do play the occasional video game.
All right. And lastly, Ravenslark, our newest cast member. Who are you? What do you do on the internet?
I am Ravenslark, and call me Raven. I am the chronically confused bird of Twitch. I do a variety of RPGs. Currently, unhealthy amounts of obsession with going back and playing EverQuest on stream. I've also been doing Heroes of Hammer Watch. If it's an RPG, I probably will look at it at some point, especially if it's not a AAA title. Outside that, I occasionally do a bit of guitar playing on stream if I'm so inclined and the request is there. Yeah, that's it.
All right. I'm Impious. I run Dungeons and Distractions here on Twitch with the help of my lovely co-GM, Rojan Quest, and all of our cast members, and you guys for watching at home. We do 3 shows a week currently. On Sunday nights, we have Blood Moon Adventures, which is our 5th edition Tomb of Annihilation game. Tuesday nights is Gibbering Mouthers, which is a planar jumping, party killing, insanity adventure. And Wednesday nights is going to be Keelhauled, which is the show that you just sat and helped us create characters for and hung out with us. So we appreciate it. We are going to go raid Exploding Dice. They are another D&D channel here on Twitch. So what I want you to do is go ahead and copy. I heard that there were dragons in here. Join the raid at the top of the chat and go over there and show them our love and support. And they're currently doing their Daubers, which is an all halfling campaign, and I can't get behind that or endorse that at all. But we're gonna go show them some love anyway. So thank you folks for hanging out with us tonight, and we will see you over there. Don't forget, on Saturday, noon Pacific time, that is 3 p.m. Eastern, we are starting our St. Jude's charity stream. So please show up for that, and thanks.